Hi, my name is Neil Kelleher. I had a recent request for a beginner's Chaturanga Dandasana video. So in this video I'll be going over some of the basic arm exercises and shoulder exercises that you can use as a preparation to Chaturanga Dandasana, also as a preparation for a yoga push-up. And the idea here is that if you can do a push-up, pushing up from the floor into a plank position, then it should be fairly easy to control yourself when you're lowering down from a plank position into Chaturanga Dandasana. And so to start with, there'll be some arm exercises, some shoulder blade awareness exercises, and then some progressions for working your way up to a full Chaturanga and also a full plank position. One of the first exercises that you can use for learning how to do Chaturanga Dandasana is learning to rotate the upper arms outwards. And by that I mean, if you focus on the points of the elbows, move the fronts of the arms outwards so that if your elbows are bent, your forearms move out to the sides. And then relax that action. So you can do that to begin with the arms bent so that you can learn to feel your upper arms moving. So roll your arms out and then relax the action so that the arms move in. Roll the upper arms out, front of the arms move outwards, and then relax. Now then from there do the same action with the arms straight. So try and get the same feeling. Roll the arms out and then in, and then repeat that a few times. Now why do this action? It actually activates, depending on how you do it, it actually activates the infraspinatus muscle, which is on the shoulder blade and attaches to the back of the arm bone, somewhere up around here. So when you roll the arm out, you may be able to see that on me. That's the infraspinatus activating. There's also possibly teres minor, which attaches lower on the outer edge of the shoulder blade and attaches again to the back of the upper arm. And if you do this exercise slowly and smoothly and you focus on feeling both your upper arms and the back of your shoulder blade, you might find that the exercise, just rolling the arms out and then relaxing, feels quite soothing. But you also may find that you can develop a feeling for your upper arm and your shoulder blade. So what this may look like from the back, slowly roll your arms out. Feel the back of the arms moving inwards, and you may be able to feel a slight increase in tension at the back of the shoulder blades and perhaps even at the back of the arms. It might be the tricep long head along here, and then relax. Slowly roll out and then relax. Now with the hands on the floor, rolling the arms out has a slightly different effect than when the hands are free. So with the hands free and the elbows bent, when you roll the arms out, the hands move outwards. When you're doing this against the floor, because the hands are on the floor, the hands can't move outwards. So when you roll the arms outwards, what actually happens is that same action causes the elbows to move in towards your body. So you can practice this with your hands against the wall. Maybe try to lift your rib cage a little bit. Also try to lift your back ribs a little bit. We'll get into that a bit later. But place your hands on the floor, or on the wall, with your wrists slightly higher than your elbows so that your forearms angle up. And then do the same exercise. Relax the arms. So again, lift the ribs, lengthen your neck, roll your arms out. So do the rolling the arm outward action, and you'll notice your elbows move in and then relax. So against here, so if I had try it here, so roll the arms, try and get the same feeling of your upper arms rotating outwards and then relaxing. Now it seems kind of strange, I'll say rotate the arms outwards but the elbows move in. Get it into your mind that the action of rotating the arms outwards, that activates these muscles here. That's what you're trying to do. So ignore the fact that the elbows are moving inwards. You could also say move the elbows inwards. But the idea here is to use the external rotators, the infraspinatus and the teres minor, to actually cause the action. And you can imagine that that helps to make the back of the shoulder joint stronger, which helps the arms both when pushing up and lowering down. The second action that I teach for Chaturanga and Dandasana is actually pushing the hands forwards. So the sequence actually on the floor would be to roll the arms out and then push the hands forwards or headwards if you're lying down on the floor. And why do this action? It's a little bit like in downward dog. In downward dog, if you press the hands forwards, that same action, because the hands are on the floor, they don't move. That same action pushes the rib cage back and up away from the hands. So you're creating space between your hands and your rib cage by using your shoulders to push your hands forwards. With the hands on the floor in Chaturanga and Dandasana, what happens is you roll your arms out, then push your hands forwards, and that'll actually push your body back. At the same time, if you're lifting up into full plank, you could be pressing back with your feet. So your hands push forward, your feet push back, and in between your body is being compressed. Rather than being compressed, it slowly presses upwards. So the idea is you're using an outward push of the feet and the hands to push the body up in between them. So here again, you could practice on the wall with your hands against the wall, forearms slightly angled upwards so your wrists are ahead of your elbows. Open up the front ribs, so lift the front ribs away from your pelvis. Also try to lift your back ribs away from the pelvis a little bit. If you can't get the back ribs, don't worry about it, just focus on the front. Also try to lengthen both sides of your neck. So from here, I'll show you this without the wall. First roll the arms outwards, then push the hands upwards a little bit, and then relax. So against the wall, a little bit hard on the wall, but roll the arms up, outwards. Roll the upper arms outwards so the elbows move in. Push the hands up as if trying to slide them up the wall, but keep the hands still. Use friction to keep the hands in place. And what you may find is your shoulders actually, as you push your hands up, the shoulders move down. So externally rotate, push the hands up, shoulders move down, relax. And on the floor, what this might look like. So here, lift the front ribs, move the back ribs. So move the front and back ribs away from your pelvis, lengthen your neck. Position the hands so the wrists are a little bit ahead of the elbows. Roll the upper arms outwards so the elbows move in. Then keep the shoulders relaxed, or as relaxed as possible. Push the hands forward. Notice how my shoulders move back. So here again, I'm not doing anything with my pelvis, keeping my pelvis on the floor, so all I'm doing is focusing on the ribs. So hands on the floor, wrists slightly ahead of the shoulders. Lift the head, lengthen the neck. Move your front ribs away from the pelvis, and then move the back ribs away from the pelvis. And as you do so, try to feel your neck, keep your neck long. Then from there, roll the upper arms outwards. So maybe you can feel infraspinatus and teres minor activating. Keep your legs relaxed for now. Push your hands forwards against the floor so that your shoulders actually move back and down that way towards your pelvis, and then relax. So arms roll out, push the hands forward so the shoulders move back. You may find your body moves back a little bit, and then relax. Roll the upper arms out. Do that slowly and smoothly. Rather than just pushing forward, slowly push forward, and then relax. And since you're down here, you could also practice the feet as well. So just relax your arms on the floor, feet on the floor. Lift your knees. Notice how slowly I'm doing. I'm not doing like this. And if you focus on feeling the way your knees, the skin of your knees touches the floor or your mat, and also focus on feeling your feet. Feel your feet pressing down. Feel the skin of your knees lifting. Maybe feel the skin of your thighs lifting up. Then press your feet down a little bit more. Lift your pelvis, even your lower belly, and then relax. So put my hands forward so you can see. Press your feet down. Lift your knees. Lift the skin of your thighs. Lift your pelvis, and then relax. And you can do this as a way to relax from using the arms. Lift the knees, lift the thighs, lift the pelvis, and then from here, use your feet. Press your toes back against the floor so your body moves forward. Relax. Lift your knees, thighs, hips. Press your toes back against the floor so your body moves forward, and then relax. Then try both at the same time. Lengthen your neck, move your ribs forwards away from your pelvis. Roll your upper arms out. Press your hands forwards against the floor so your body moves back. Lift knee and hips. Push your feet back against the floor so your body moves forward. And focus, see if you can move your hands forward, your feet back, and then relax. Lift your head, lengthen your neck, open your ribs, roll your upper arms out, press your hands forwards against the floor, lift your knees, hips, lower belly, push your feet back against the floor, and then relax. And then repeat that a few times. So now then, the next action for push-up is learning to use your shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades are here, and what this next exercise is, the purpose of this next exercise is to teach you how to stabilize your shoulder blades relative to your rib cage. And the idea here is that if your shoulder blades are stable relative to your rib cage, that gives the muscles of the arms, the shoulder muscles, the arm muscles, a firm foundation from which to work on the arms. And the key muscle that I believe we're trying to use is the serratus anterior muscle. That attaches to the inside edge of the shoulder blade, right about there. And from there, the fingers of the serratus anterior reach forward between the shoulder blade and the rib cage. So to about here, also here, and they form like an arc. So it's fingers attaching to the side of the rib cage. And when those muscles contract, they actually spread the shoulder blades, or they cause this action, moving the inside edge of the shoulder blades away from the spine or away from each other. We'll see if I can so these muscles right here, that's the serratus anterior. But anyway, the basic action, as I just said, is they activate to spread the shoulder blades. So when you are pushing up into Chaturanga Dandasana, or into a full plank position with the elbows straight, those muscles ideally, so as you're pushing up, the serratus anterior spreads the shoulder blades, moves them away from each other. And that gives, so rather than the shoulder blades moving back like so, the serratus anterior spreads the shoulder blades as you push up. And as you're lowering down, say from plank into Chaturanga Dandasana, or actually onto the floor, the idea of using those muscles is to resist the shoulder blades moving together. They're still active, but instead of the shoulder blades just collapsing inwards, those muscles keep them from moving together, allows them to slowly move together. And it's like doing a squat. So in a squat, to lift up, you might be using the thigh muscles, you might be using the leg muscles, the butt muscles. So those muscles contract to lift your hips. Now if you're doing the opposite, instead of moving downwards, these same muscles are still active that you use to push up, but instead of contracting more to lift higher, they're gradually reducing the contraction power so that you lower down in control. So the same muscles are active, but they're lengthening but staying active, as opposed to contracting and staying active. So, how to activate the serratus anterior? The first step, and this is for beginners, particularly if you have no shoulder awareness, the first step is to practice moving the shoulders forwards and backwards. And again, notice the speed at which I'm doing this. Move the shoulders forwards and back. And notice there's no change in the shape of my rib cage. So first step can be to lift the front ribs. If you like, lift the back ribs as well. Try to keep your rib cage still. Move your shoulders forwards and back, then relax. Lift the ribs, keep the ribs still. Move your shoulders forwards and back, then relax. So repeat that exercise just to the point that you can do it comfortably, so it can move forward smoothly and then relax smoothly, and also without doing anything like this where my rib cage is sinking down as I move my shoulders. The next step is to focus on feeling the inside edges of your shoulder blades. As you move your shoulders forward, see if you can feel the shoulder blades spreading apart. See in particular if you can feel the inside edges of your shoulder blades spreading apart. And then relax. And here again, keep your rib cage still as you move your shoulders. So lift your ribs first, keep them lifted. Move your shoulders forwards, feel your shoulder blades spreading, and then relax. The next step in this exercise is still the same exercise, but your focus is different. Instead of moving the shoulders forwards, focus on spreading your shoulder blades. In particular, spread the inside edge of the shoulder blades. Why? Because that's where the serratus anterior attaches to. So if you focus on moving the inside edges of your shoulder blade, you're more likely to activate the serratus anterior, which then stabilizes your shoulder blade relative to your rib cage. So here again, lift your chest, lengthen the neck, keep it long, and see if you can feel this part of your shoulder blade, both sides. Move forwards, spread your shoulder blades, and then relax. And spread your shoulder blades, and then relax. And then on the relaxation stage, it's probably the weight of the arms that just moves the shoulder blades back to the neutral position. Because I work with a lot of beginners, people who often haven't had experience of moving their shoulders independently of the rib cage, who cannot feel their shoulders, maybe they can't even they've never even learned to feel and lift their shoulders, whatever, and that may be the case with you as well, or may not be, but one exercise I use as a prep, I'm currently using as a prep, I'm not sure if I'll keep using it or not, is to use a set of yoga blocks. If you haven't got yoga blocks, maybe some books or magazines. And what I do is, if you're a woman and have large breasts, you might need slightly higher. Play around with it, see what works for you. But the idea is to lie on the floor, chest on the floor, with the shoulders, the front of the shoulders on the blocks. And so from the front, I'm only bending my knees so I'm in focus because the wall's behind me. But from the front, it looks like this. So if you put the blocks up higher like this, not like this, so that's on my rib cage. And obviously not too far out either, just so the head of the arm bone is on the blocks. And then from there, same action as we just did previously. Spread the shoulder blades and then relax. Notice how spreading my shoulder blades causes my rib cage to lift off of the floor, and then relax. And if you're lucky enough to have blocks, you might be able to find that you can position your arms so that this action is actually reasonably comfortable. So here again, spread the shoulder blades. So as you do so, your shoulders press down and your rib cage lifts up. You can keep your neck long, chest open, and then relax. Now then, lifting up from the floor into Chaturanga Dandasana without lifting the pelvis. This is just focusing on the upper arms. The blocks are relatively stable, and you could just see there, by spreading my shoulder blades, my rib cage lifted off of the floor. Now instead, without using blocks, I'm going to be using my arms. And the idea here, when lifting just up into Chaturanga Dandasana, is to make the arms strong and just unmoving. So you set up the arms, and then from there, spreading the shoulder blades lifts the rib cage. And you see here, if I spread my shoulder blades without changing the degree of bend in my elbows, that pushes my hands forwards away from my chest. With my hands on the floor, if I set up the arms so the arms are rigid, spread the shoulder blades, I can use that same action to move my chest away from my hands, to move my chest away from the floor.
So then, how do you set up the arms? So elbows slightly bent, wrists slightly ahead of the elbows. Lengthen the neck, open the chest. Roll the arms, upper arms externally. Push the hands slightly forward. And then from there, keeping the elbows rigid as if they're yoga blocks, try and spread the shoulder blades. And then relax. It's a little bit difficult. But hopefully if you roll the arms out, then press the hands forwards. Also open the rib cage, lengthen the neck. Keep the elbows stiff and stable. Spread the shoulder blades. You may find you can lift your rib cage and then slowly lower it. And then if you like, you can add the legs. So lengthen the neck, open the ribs, roll the upper arms out, press the hands forward, just use the funny sounds. And then lift the knees, lift the hips, press the feet back. Then from there, spread the shoulder blades and then relax. Repeat a few times. It might be a bit too soon to start lifting the pelvis, so more on that in a second. Because in Chaturanga, Dandasana and lifting up into plank, doing a yoga push-up, the arms are possibly the weakest link or the thing that most people a lot of beginners need to learn how to control. What I would suggest is focusing on the arms and the upper body. So don't even worry about the pelvis. So what you can do, so again, position your wrists ahead of your elbows, and if you like, experiment. Try different distances with your hands forward and back. So chest open, neck long, roll the upper arms out, press the hands forwards. And then from there, spread the shoulder blades. Then spread the shoulder blades some more, try to straighten the elbows. And here, lift your hips. I'm not even worried about the position of my spine right now. And then slowly lower your hips and then your rib cage, and then repeat a few times. So neck long, chest open, roll the upper arms out. Again, do it slowly rather than just an unconscious quick movement. Feel your upper arms rolling out. Feel the muscles of the back of the rib cage activating. Then feel your hands pushing forward, and maybe try relaxing the shoulders first. Or maybe make the shoulders a little bit stiff, but then make your elbows stiff as well. Spread your shoulder blades. Keep pushing your hands forwards. See if you can increase the downward pressure and the forward pressure of your hands. See if you can straighten the elbows. And then relax. Don't even worry about the spine. Unless your back is really uncomfortable, don't worry about it too much. Just focus on using your arms. Repeat a few times, rest. Repeat a few more times and then rest. So once you've got those basic actions, particularly using the arms, what you can do to work towards full Chaturanga is as follows. So lying on the floor, again, first thing, neck, rib cage, position the hands, roll the arms out, push the hands forwards. Spread the shoulder blades to lift the rib cage. From there, you can try lifting the hips, and then lifting the knees, feeling your toes press back as you do so, and then lower down, and then repeat. Chest and neck, upper arms. Push the hands forwards, spread the shoulder blades to lift the rib cage, then lift the hips, lift the knees, and then lower. And once you have the feel for that, try it all at once. So neck and rib cage. Set up the arms and then lift and then lower. Another option, which I showed earlier, so neck, rib cage, roll the arms out, press the hands forward, spread the shoulder blades, then lift the knees first and then lift the pelvis and then relax. Neck, rib cage, upper arms, press the hands forward, spread the shoulder blades. Knees, pelvis, relax, and then again, all together. If you want to work towards full plank, set neck and rib cage, arms roll out, press the hands forward, slowly lift up, and then lower. Then see if you can lift up higher, and then lower. And I'm doing this a little bit speeded up. Neck, chest, arms, hands, all the way up, and then lower. Then what you can do So Chaturanga, slowly lift up and then lower. Off, lift up a little bit higher and then lower. All the way up and then lower. You may find you need to rest in between, that's fine. But each time try to do it with full body awareness. You could try it with knees on the floor, knees lifted. You could try it, you might want to try with knees slightly forward, lifting up from this position so that you have less body weight to lift. You could also try lifting up here, then lifting the knees lower. So from here, lift the knees. If you like, put the knees back down and lower, or keep them lifted and then lower in control. But each case you can sort of work toward doing a whole body plank, lifting up in stages and then lowering down in stages as well. Now, hopefully that will help you work towards both Chaturanga and plank pose with the greatest amount of ease possible. Thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions or requests for future videos, please use the Facebook page, or you can, I think I've left my contact information in the description box. Use the contact box to ask me a question. I'll be happy to do a video if I'm able. Thanks again.